I would be willing to bet that at some point in your life, you were taught to take care of the things that matter to you. Maybe it's your belongings, maybe it's your relationships. This is called stewardship. Stewardship is the careful and responsible management of things that matter to you. We are taught to steward our finances well. We are taught to steward our marriages well. We are taught to take care of our jobs and show up and do a good job, right? But has anyone ever taught you that you need to steward your pregnancy and your birth? Why not? We are taught to steward all of these other things. Here's the bottom line. Everything we have comes from the Lord. So if He has given you a baby, He has given you a child to raise, He's given you a pregnancy and an upcoming birth, that means He has entrusted you to steward it well and to take care of it. If you're new here, hi, my name is Marissa. I'm a nurse, a doula, a childbirth educator, and a mom of 3 girls. This channel was made to help encourage moms to view birth through the lens of the gospel. If you are a believer and you are not incorporating the gospel into your birth prep, then I would lovingly tell you that it is incomplete. It is so important that we consider all things that we do through that lens. And so that is my goal here. My main goal is to encourage you to seek Jesus more through motherhood. Before I get started, I just want to let you know that I do have a Faith and Physiology First birth course that is listed in the description box. We go through topics like endurance, worship, learning how to wait well, God's sovereignty, surrendering to what God has for us in the divine design. I hope you'll check that out. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them. So what if I told you that you were not meant to control your birth, but rather you are meant to steward it? Controlling your birth looks like holding so tight to certain outcomes or expectations. Sometimes it looks like fully taking that self-responsibility off of yourself and putting it onto the experts, removing yourself from it entirely. Control in birth is having closed hands, right? Stewarding your birth is using wisdom and discernment to make informed decisions while also cultivating the soil and being expectant that God is going to do something in your birth, having open hands for whatever He has for you. The difference between control and stewardship really is a heart posture. So I want to share with you about a very well-known story in the Bible called the parable of the talents. And we're going to apply this story to the concept of birth. So I want you, while you're listening to me, think about if your birth was a parable, what would it be like? So the parable of the talents basically is a master giving 3 of his servants a share of talents. At the time, 1 talent was equal to about 20 years of wages. So this was a big deal. And he gave it to them because he was trusting them to be wise and steward it well. So to one, he gave him 5 talents. To the second, he gave him 2. And to the third, he gave him 1. And he went away. The first servant went and doubled his 5 talents to 10. The second doubled his 2 to 4. And then the third was so filled with fear that he was going to handle this wrong or somebody was going to take it from him that he literally dug a hole in the ground, buried it, and did nothing with it. So when the master comes back to collect and to see what they've done, he finds out that the first and the second have used wisdom to double what they've been given, and he praises them, says, "Well done, good and faithful servant." And then when he finds out that the third servant has done nothing but hide his talent, he's actually angry and calls him slothful, and he casts him out. And so what does this parable teach us about stewarding our births? I believe that the core lesson that we can take away from the parable of the talents is asking ourselves, are we letting fear drive our decisions, or are we investing into what the Lord has given us so that we can reap joy on the other side? A baby in a pregnancy and the chance to raise a child is a gift, and it's a gift that we should not take lightly. I am not saying that you are not allowed to feel nervous or afraid about giving birth. That is so normal. God is not going to remove His hand from you because you have fear or nerves. But what I am saying is that we should not take this gift lightly, that there is abundantly more that God has for us in birth than that we can even process or we even know. So, practically speaking, what does it look like to steward your birth? The very first thing is that you need to make use of your time. Everything that the Lord has designed is purposeful. Your pregnancy is around 40 weeks for a reason. Now, the number 40 is biblically significant. It represents a period of waiting for a promise to be fulfilled, which is your baby's life. That in itself is incredible. But we can use this time of pregnancy to prepare ourselves. We're preparing our home. We're preparing our minds, our bodies, and our spirits to welcome this baby into our life. And we have to use that time efficiently. So, what does that look like? That looks like nourishing your physical body, staying active, taking care of your diet, and eating nutritious foods. This looks like having a birth team that really truly cares about your individualized care and not feeling like you're just on a factory line. Psalm 127:1 says, "Unless the Lord builds the house, those who build it labor in vain." We don't want to labor in vain. We want to labor purposefully. The second part of how you can steward your birth well is to be prepared to sacrifice. From this point on, for the rest of your life, somebody's needs are going to come before yours. And we should not view this in an unhealthy martyr type way, right? Because that's not a good way to live. But we need to view this as a way that we are mirroring Christ. We are imaging him. God gave the ultimate sacrifice for us by giving Jesus to die for our sins. And so we have a very small way of experiencing that by sacrificing our time, our bodies, our sleep, our entire life and identities to motherhood. And this is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. It gives us a very unique and intimate view of Christ's love for us. The next way that you can steward your birth is caring for your environment. And this might mean the actual physical environment of your home or your birth space, making it feel somewhere that you feel safe. This also could mean your birth team, building a birth team that respects you and listens to you and sees you as an authority in your birth. These are people that you know are going to go to bat for you, that are going to pray for you, and they're going to be there every step of the way. This could also mean, what is the spiritual climate of your home? Are you spiritually preparing as a family to welcome this baby and to go through the challenge of birth and postpartum? The next way that you can steward your birth is by acquiring knowledge. You cannot steward something that you do not have knowledge in. You cannot steward something well that you do not understand. The more that you learn about your God-given design, about the physiology of your body, you're going to be more able to work with your body and support it to stack the odds in your favor for a more positive outcome. And so learn about birth, consume positive educational birth stories, talk to your trusted godly counsel that can encourage you about birth and the season that you're going to walk through. Perhaps take a birth education course like mine that's going to make you feel confident and teach you birth through the lens of the gospel. And lastly, you need to build your advocacy skills. I have unfortunately heard from other birth workers that they view it as a disservice that I would tell moms that they need to be able to advocate for themselves in birth, because why would you need to advocate for yourself in the first place, right? Don't give birth at the hospital. You shouldn't have to advocate for yourself to begin with. But here's the reality. 98% of women are giving birth in the hospital. And so I'm going to encourage and educate those women to the best of my ability. You can have a positive hospital birth experience, but I'm going to be so real with you. You have to be willing to advocate for yourself, and you have to have those skills. Unmedicated Academy can teach you those skills, and the link for that is in the description box. It is a fully comprehensive, up to 30-hour birth education course that teaches you everything you need to know about having an unmedicated or low intervention hospital birth. When you purchase this birth course, you also get my 6 faith-based lessons of Delivered by Grace. 1 Corinthians 4:2 says, "Moreover, it is required of stewards that they be found faithful." It is my prayer that we all would be found faithful in the things that the Lord has entrusted to us. May your pregnancy and your birth be the invitation that you need to draw nearer to the Lord, and that you would continually be filled with His peace and His presence. I am praying with you and for you, and I hope that you'll stick around for the next video. See you later.